Welcome to the Maryland Retail Products Producer Program. This program is for producers and craft food entrepreneurs seeking to expand their retail product sales beyond the farm gate. This presentation is one component of the online training materials available on the University of Maryland Extension's Ag Marketing website. Additional training, educational materials, articles, and real-time educational opportunities can be found there. My name is Ginger Myers, and I'm the marketing specialist for agriculture and food systems with the University of Maryland Extension. In this presentation, we'll discuss identifying and defining your business and targeting your customers, including segmenting your audience. It all starts with a marketing message. What's yours? Does your message include your value proposition? That is a unique position that tells your customers what you have and what you do really well, and acknowledges what your customer needs or cares about. You'll notice in the icon here as well, there's a bubble that says what your competition does really well, but it doesn't really intersect on your value proposition much. We need to check out what our competition does really well, looking for opportunities to define your products and look for opportunities to deliver the message of what your customers are seeking with your product versus your competition. So what value do you bring to your customers? Your value proposition is a statement that explains what benefits you provide and how you do it uniquely. It points to a problem you solve and why you do it better than your alternatives. The example we have here talks about farm fresh eggs that provide a tasty and nutritious breakfast for families on the run. This defines breakfast for families who perhaps are out the door in a hurry, but are concerned about the nutrition of the family, that they're well fed, they're provided for the day. It also talks about cooking it any way and eat it anytime you want. The convenience and the affordability. They do home delivery, so it's convenient, and you never have to run to the store for eggs again. Addressing problems and concerns for the buyer. Nutritious food, you can eat it anytime, cook it in different ways, and you don't have to run to the store to get it. Several points for the value proposition that this farm brings to its customers who purchase their eggs. Market segmentation is the process of categorizing different groups according to different behaviors, and we've talked about that in other marketing presentations, whether that's demographic, where they live, geographic, behaviors. What do they care about? What are their psychological traits? Do they value local food? Do they value sustainability? Those kinds of behaviors that categorize different purchasing groups. Now that's market segmentation, but a target market really focuses down on who is buying a specific product so that you can define your marketing campaign to that. Because we have to realize not everyone is your customer. So how do we look at defining and finding that customer? Here are some examples of segments for direct products. Your own farm stand or farm store or a market stall at the farmer's markets. Perhaps you're looking to sell at other retail outlets or local stores that may stock your products on their shelves. Certainly, restaurants and institutions that buy direct from farm communities are examples of segments that you would perhaps provide different marketing materials and different packaging to. And of course, e-commerce, because so much is now being sold online and online platforms. So here's four, and perhaps you would segment it a little more depending on your product. Maybe you're targeting some other, maybe a co-op, maybe a health food store. You can get a little more specific, but also remember that to group as those who have the similar purchasing needs and your product fits, back to that value proposition. So what is your message then? Here are some tips for you to define that. Check out the competition. You won't be the first on the market with a product probably. There are others out there. And don't be discouraged if there seems to be a lot of them. What you're looking for is, what does your product do well? How can it be positioned to compete? Do you produce it in a certain way? Do you package it in a different size? Do you target specific demographics? Perhaps homeschool parents, or an elderly population that's looking for smaller size portions. Certainly consider the psychographics of your target. Many folks now are concerned about buying local, the environmental impact of agricultural production. So these are concerns that you need to put into your marketing mix there and evaluate your decision of which of these groups, which of these target segments are you going to develop. This might change over time. You may identify several and have to weed those down a little bit, or you may find that you have subgroups within a segment that you need to address as well. So again, here's some target examples of that. Restaurants that feature local foods in their offerings. This is both demographic and kinetic as to what they're offering, and they're appealing to their customers who have these values as well. Specialty retail store, health stores, on-farm markets, that's certainly a different segment than a restaurant. It will be different in your packaging, certainly different in your pricing, also as far as manning the inventory and keeping that stocked. Perhaps you're going to work with someone else's target market, food hubs or aggregators, that you're looking to go along with others who will be bundling or packaging or delivering. That's a different target audience, again, from perhaps a restaurant. And then, of course, it's directs to consumers with special wants or needs. Are you looking to service those accounts who have special diets you're looking at, such as keto, or convenience in preparation? We've seen the rise of the meal boxes that have things pre-packaged with recipes, or perhaps it's even just portion size. When we think of the 100-calorie snack packs, that's an example of convenience in preparation, and also addressing the health concerns about calorie counts. So what are you going to message to your target customers? Remember, again, we said, what were your value proposition, and what is your story or message to your customer? So as far as your competitors, who do you target customers buy from now? Again, I'm not advocating that you name your competitors and in any way put them in a negative light, but if you research what customers are buying from your competitors, how are they packaging? What are they saying about their product? Then you can craft your message to be unique to yours, because your brand promise to your customers, your value proposition, needs to be unique to you. It needs to make them understand why they should be purchasing your product because of the want or need that it satisfies for them. And could this become a tagline? This feeds into branding where there's maybe a logo, but also usually a few words that become a line. The little cow holding the sign here is, everyone has a right to know what's in their food. For someone who their marketing message is transparency, that's the kind of example we would be talking about. So in summary, how to segment your audience to deliver your value proposition and develop a target customer. First, review the audience that you're segmenting. Who's in it? How many? What are their traits? What are their wants and needs in purchasing product? Then that's part of the segmentation criteria. Gentlemen who perhaps are in barbecue competitions want larger cuts of brisket than perhaps a family who just wants to smoke a piece for the holidays. That's a different segmentation criteria. So once you have the audience information and you have segmented it by criteria as to who fits into what groups, then you can assess how to message to those segments and develop what we call an audience profile. So you may have one marketing message that rings true with homeschool moms and dads, perhaps another with those who are cooking large meals, perhaps a different audience profile for smaller home appetites. And again, I'm not advocating for lots of segments, but realize that your initial target audience, which you've determined you can satisfy a want and need for, and that your product fits that want and need, you can then develop into segments and audience profiles to develop those marketing. In a later presentation, we're going to talk about developing sales funnels that once you have these segments in place, how do you attract customers to purchase your products? Thank you for joining us.